Due to explicit content and language, listeners' discretion is advised. Black in Thought.
All right. Let's get started. You may learn something.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Black in Thought, where we take a look at current and cultural issues, applying that Afrocentric drip to them. Your hosts tonight are... We got the Professor, JB, D, and me, Ill Will. Tonight, Dale's out on a little excursion, so he's not going to be able to make it tonight. So, topic tonight is how do you find that balance, and within life and work, to find peace and tranquility, at home with yourself and things like that. What helps you to keep you, out of the red and going crazy, or your mind going places that it shouldn't go when it comes to things that happen in everyday life and work and stuff like that. So that's gonna be the topic today. So we're gonna do like we do and make it happen.
None of us got 9-to-5s, regular 9-to-5 jobs.
No.
That's the cost of wanting to provide. You had to do some random shit. But I think all of us have been in a situation, can we agree, that whether it's a special project or you're just taking on some extra work or client, if you own your own business, you're taking on extra client. And, there's some commitments you have to fulfill. That's going to minimize the time you have with your family. And when you're out there grinding and you're trying to provide and get extras, for vacation and purses and shoes, hey, you got to be away from the crib for a couple minutes, 2-3 hours, right?
I mean, you're grinding.
Hold on, you ready for this? Then you come home and it's like, I'm getting tired of you being away from home all day. And then you're looking at her wrist and you're looking at her closet. Hey, am I lying? I'm lying, I'm flying.
You look at her hand.
You look at her hand. She tired of you being away.
That shit
all
looks
day.
heavy, don't it?
Very heavy.
Yeah.
So I think
I see you, JB. You want to say
go ahead, chime in. You'll steal the glory.
I ain't stealing no glory, man. Man, you talk about balance. It's something that I think we all struggle with. I think that, I think our significant others want to be cherished and, set on, I won't say set on a pedestal, but revered, whatever you want to say. And there's only so much time in the day. You know what I mean? There's only so much energy that you can put forth into anything. So it is tough to balance.
What Bobby Womack said, you always complaining about what you ain't got and what your friends got. Yeah. I can't be in two places at one time.
You can't. It's a challenge. And, you talk about priorities. I mean, man, like you said, Professor, you're trying to provide. You're trying to elevate your family in certain situations, and that comes with an investment of time.
Because when you're not providing, then you're a sorry ass dude.
Yeah, we can have all kinds of time.
Why don't you get away from me? Why don't you go somewhere?
All kinds of time.
Pushing you out the house. But when you
but what I've heard is when you do have a moment or you do have time, are you filling it with spending time with her? Or are you filling it with, man, I just want to relax. I want to go grab a drink. I want to go.
There needs to be both. Because, you do need to focus on each other and, want to spend time with each other to put that, spark back into things. Of course, when it's like, you don't spend time with me to show that person that, you care. Just I'm out here grinding for us, making it do what it do. This is how we have the things that we have. And then, it's a crazy balance to keep that, there, because, as you want some time to yourself so that you can pull yourself back together at times. Because, you need that to de-stress yourself. But, it's a hard balance.
But, real men like yourselves, you guys are a commodity. We're a commodity, right? And there's always, you can't continue to be consumed without being replenished. So when you're doing everything you're doing and you're doing everything you're doing, Ill Will, JB, and D, there has to be a moment of replenishment. And for men, that's peace. That's that mental cave they talk about. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not gonna harp on this too long, but historically, women understood the role of a man. And when he's out there providing, he has to come home and he has to diffuse because it's a lot to handle, right? It's called shifting gears, right? We heard it in the workplace.
Yeah.
I'm probably at home, and this is no exaggeration, 5 hours a day out of a 24-hour period. So like today, tonight, I want to be able to go home, take a bath. I really don't want to talk. I'm not being insensitive, but as a commodity, I need to be replenished, right? You're thinking about your week. We always think about next week's game plan. You're thinking about bills. We never stop thinking about bills,
You
right?
can't.
And then, hey, daddy, I got this coming up. Hey, baby, what about next vacation? And you're thinking like, so you always on go mode, but you have to be replenished. And sometimes women have to understand, and this is when we have to take them back historically and introduce them to that old way of doing things, that you have to pick and choose. And I tell people that there's a cost to comfort. There's a cost. So you can't have me all the time, but then have these things that you want. There has to be some balance. And with that,
maybe it's less things.
is it? Me, what planet?
Yeah, but I'm being real though. Maybe it's less things. You got to have those real conversations. It's like
True
if you want, we could all work ourselves to death and have fat ass cribs and not spend any time in them. You could.
I see it every day.
But right, people miserable. So it is a balance. It is a balance, and you got to try to find that balance. And I do think, from the female perspective, especially with kids, if they're taking care of the kids, it would be nice if you could both get some moments to diffuse. Because I know sometimes when I come home, kids crazy, going at it, at each other, talking whatever. You come home, you don't want to deal with that shit. But she been there dealing with it. So at some point you got to figure out a way to get her to shift, let her shift gears. So it's a crazy dynamic.
I mean, because just as you said, we need that time to de-escalate and bring ourselves down from work. If they're at home taking the kids, that they need that time to de-escalate from being the one always laundry, dishes, cooking, taking care of the kids and things like that. So I mean, it goes both ways in that.
I
finding that balance.
I think what's something you said, Professor, about taking it back in the day. Back in the day, traditionally, women were at home taking care of the domestic, the kids, the cooking, the cleaning, those sorts of things. Now they're being asked to work on top of that in some cases. So it's a double hit, and then we're working ourselves crazy. So it's just it's crazy. The dynamic is just it's too much sometimes. It just becomes too much.
Well, let's ask D. What do you think, D? Let's ask D.
So I think when it comes to work-life balance, first thing you got to ask yourself is, why are you working?
Yep. There you go.
That's a good one.
Seriously. I hear y'all mention stuff, but are you really working for stuff, or are you working for something else? So with your spouse, you may say, you know what, why are we working? What's the goal? The goal, it may be stuff. So if you have that stuff, if that's what it is, and you got this goal, you're striving to. Also, something, JB, you said about back in the day, women, they didn't work outside the home. Well, it's a different time now, and they are working. So they work outside the home, and then I think we expect them to come home and do all the things they did inside the home too. I'll be honest. I think that I'm different. I speak for myself. I enjoy cooking and cleaning. That is a very peaceful place for me. Like headphones on and the vacuum and just doing that, I enjoy that. But also that can take something off the wife back too. So sometimes we talk work-life balance, you got to figure out why you're working. But then when you come home, you talk about that's your life balance. So maybe my life balance is, you know what? Hey, babe, tonight after dinner, I'll wash the dishes and you go sit down somewhere. Mm-hmm. Just something like that. I think it's a small things, because when we talk about work-life balance, we know what we expect for them as far as life-wise later that night. But if they're what I'm hearing, that they do so much during the day. Women they don't got our energy, y'all. They not built to this all work stuff and all day long and kids. So they're exhausted by the time we get home, which is why a lot of men get home and come nighttime, we're looking for a little nookie and
Put a Red Bull on the nightstand.
No, but you bring up some good points.
real talk.
No, you do bring us some good points. But one thing that you mentioned, Professor, about when we were talking about work-life balance, I think that as D said, putting some replenishing, I think if we poured into our spouse in some of those aspects, we would get some in return. So it's kind of like you got to, just how you want to be filled, you got to fill too. And sometimes when your well is empty, I think that, I'll just say this, I think that women are probably, what you put in, you get more out.
That is true.
Man,
That's
it's
true.
more of a 1-to-1 ratio, even less.
That's true. That's true, man.
So if you put a little drop into a woman, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
You put a little drop into a man, it's gonna be a drop. But that's just the way we are.
The shit don't change.
This shit don't change. It don't change.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the way God made women, it's like it's like an investment, man. You put a little bit in and earn interest.
They're emotional, man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They're emotional.
Emotional.
Yeah.
They're emotional. And so here's the thing. With a woman, you have to, from a man perspective, we have to work so much harder to get and keep their attention to have a enjoyable evening or night, right? We require like a nice outfit, and we happy. But women, they have their emotions attached to
The mood, the setting,
setting, how they feel. But
Yeah.
if the day is shitty here, you can forget it. Ain't shit happening.
Most definitely. I second that.
Shit's over with. Should get it done.
But see, men, they turn around real quick. Something happened. Oh shit, I'm mad. 10 minutes later, oh shit, I'm happy. I'm good.
Yeah, hey.
Right.
Especially if you got to get something or something like that.
Hey, look, and then
Ain't
I'm like,
ain't nothing worse go to bed with
hey,
a hard dick.
I'm like-
that's horrible.
hey, look,
That's a crime.
We
I'd rather spend a
arguing,
night in jail.
and we arguing. I'm over that shit. I lean over like,
Right,
I'm
we
like,
done. Like, we done.
You still mad?
Right, we done.
Nigga, that was 2 hours ago. I'm over that shit.
That expired.
But you see that even in kids.
Yeah, you do.
Boys, they argue with their little friends. They get in an argument, fight.
Back to playing.
Damn near fighting.
They
Throwing
happy.
fists. They back playing.
Girls.
Half hour later. Girls, they ain't talking to them for another month.
Man, my daughter got a girl, a friend, a little 10-year-old. She mad. Been mad for 2 weeks now. I'm like, you 10. What the fuck you mad about?
They hold on to it. I ain't like the way she looked at me at the bus.
She ain't answered my call on FaceTime.
Right.
She hung up on me.
She knows she ain't busy.
She
What
saw
she-
my text.
Right. But that's different. It's just different.
It is.
Man seem to be able to just roll with it and
Yeah,
you know,
man. I
turn
think-
around quick.
I do think with that being said, us as men being the leaders, we have to create that work-life balance because we are the backbone, and we know what it takes, and we listen to whether it's our spouses or our kids. We have to balance between our spouses, our kids, and ourselves. We can't like I said, Professor. If we give all of us to everybody, that's at home. Not talking about what we do at work. That's a whole nother body.
Yeah, I've been accused of giving. I'm giving leftovers at home, and I'm like,
Me too.
I've been
I'm
there.
like, I'm not.
Me too.
putting
I'm
more
like-
into my work than I do at home.
Yep.
I've been there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Me too.
and I feel like, yeah,
Yep.
but like you said, I guess I need to get a Red Bull or something. I don't know. Shit, I guess we both got to be
You-
tired and exhausted.
you-
If you want to make it
realize-
exciting,
I
smoke
think-
some PCP.
I do think that. So I tell
Strong
you,
arming it.
and Professor, and you too, JB, and you too. Y'all probably there's times that we come out from work and dead tired, but you know what? That's my wife. She want my attention, and I'm up. I'm chilling. I'm shooting pool, having drinks, listening to music, but I'm dead tired. But I'm okay with that because you know what? I have to fight through it for my marriage because this is a couple hours I'm giving her, and like you said, it's gonna go a long way.
It's gonna go a long
So,
way.
D, you're saying emotion rules out understanding? Because I had a similar situation prior to coming here tonight, and I hadn't slept. And I sat in the bed for about 10, 15 minutes, and it was like, hey, I look at this, I want to jump show you. And I'm like, all I want to do is just catch a quick nap before I, go to the next
So
thing.
let me ask you this: you were gone all day, right?
All night.
Let me tell you
All
this:
day.
I was gone all day. Gone all day today. Went golfing. On the way to golfing, I got a phone call. I said, "Hey, you want to golf tomorrow?" I said, "Hell yeah, fuck it." Called the wife. We had a conversation. I called back and said, "I'm not golfing tomorrow." But I understood. I didn't golf a couple times this week. I've been working all week. At what point in time do I put into my household?
But I mean, yeah, it's kind of like
Real talk.
what we talked about in our last.
I wasn't
when
happy
we were
about
talking
it.
about relationships. You come home to one that's your peace and your serenity.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that peace and serenity, you do have to pour into that fountain
You do.
to get to that peace and serenity.
Yeah, but okay, I get that. And, you guys are
Even you. You're working all night.
No, hold on. You guys are already established. I'm getting to where you're at. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
But you can't
no,
sacrifice
no,
what you
no.
you
Hold
can't
on, hold on,
sacrifice what you got to get to where you got to go.
But listen. But there's some things and some goals
I agree.
that require me to put this work in.
Are
right?
you on the same page?
Well, based on the goal.
Based on
this
the
is what-
conversation.
Based on the conversation.
Well,
this is-
based on the expectations.
Thank you. That's better.
Which-
Based on the
which comes
expectation.
from communication.
Hold on. Based on the expectation, the work that I'm doing is required in order to achieve the
Have
goal.
you
But
communicated
has
that?
that is
Okay.
that expectation
Mutual?
mutual? Yeah,
What do
mutual.
you mean mutual?
Both
mean,
y'all
but,
agree
like-
that you're going to be gone doing this here, you're going to be tired,
Yeah.
and I got to deal with it.
I mean, yeah, that's the expectation.
No, but has it been spoken, communicated?
Of course it has.
Okay.
It's been spoken and.
Well, you're good then.
well,
Go to sleep.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean,
My brother?
I'm gonna say professor.
don't work like that.
My brother.
It's kind of missing on my end. I'll say I'm striving more to be like you guys, because I mean, if we're gonna be truthful here in this situation, like we're supposed to.
That's why we're here.
Shit, my work life and home life is in disarray. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. I mean, right now, shit's fucked up, and so I have to try to find how to get it back to a better place, and I've lost how to figure out that balance right now. I mean, work life. I mean, it is what it is with just the world going to shit right now. But the home life. I mean, that's it's
Well,
a tough situation.
I think some of it times it goes hand in hand though too. With home life and work life, is we talk about expectations. If everybody's on the same page about the time and energy you're going to put into work and what that means for on the home side, then you have that balance effectively. But it's when that expectation on either side is getting drawn and pulled, if work is pulling you too far than what the expectation was, or the home is getting pulled too far from the expectation, that's where things get out of balance. And I feel like we straddle
lose
that.
expectations.
Yeah, we straddle that a lot because we're getting tugged so much.
But what about when the
From
expectations
work.
disappear?
From work.
But either
From
or.
work.
What
But
about when expectations disappear?
Yeah, but I agree with JB saying, and I've said this in the past. It's all about alignment. Nothing can be anything that's aligned is balanced, right? So, like we were all discussing, D, and you said, does she know that when you come home, you require that space? And when you're looking at a goal, and you know how women are, when you introduce them to something they've never had, and we're in a place, man, financially where we've never been ever, right? So there's a lot of things that are new. There's a lot of things we have access to, right? But it comes with a lot of sacrifice. I always talk about price versus cost. Thank
Pay
you
the
for
cost to be
I
the
always
boss.
talk about
You pay the
price,
cost to be the boss,
and that's how you
man.
determine value of something: price versus cost.
That's it.
So when we go into it and we discuss it and it's sounding all good and everybody's excited and what we're getting ready to attain and accomplish, but then there comes that emotional aspect where a woman needs that affection, and you're not there to give it to her, all because the agreement and the expectation is this, right? So I think as men, and that's why we die a lot sooner than women, because we have so much on our shoulders. We really do. We're trying to build, we're trying to provide. And then, like you said, you got to push through it, even if you're tired. It's a lot. I'm not discounting the women. Make no mistake about that, because they have a lot on their shoulders. But a real man like ourselves, man, it really is a lot. It's a lot.
Well, something that you said about leadership, I mean, you got to know what your spouse can handle and not handle. So even though they may say what they're good with, what they can handle and they can't handle.
Right.
So as a leader of your house, you got to be able to understand what kind of burden you really putting on your family, and what, you know what I'm saying? You got to have some foresight and some be intuitive.
Some emotional intelligence.
Yeah,
Right.
some emotional intelligence about what's going on in your household with your family and your wife, and what they can really handle, what they can't. Because it may be said, right? Because she doesn't want to disappoint or upset,
or she wants to please us.
Yeah, she wants to please.
They wants to please,
and she may carry that, knowing that she's really not down for this. However, I do understand the end game, so I'll suck it up.
Do it to support you.
Knowing that she knows that she's not going to be able to handle it for the long haul, deep down.
Right.
But her love of you and her support of you is going to, she's going to endure that.
Right. Sacrifice on both sides.
So
right.
it's. I think that as men, we got to really be in tune and understand what the limitations of the people in our house, what they really are.
And I like what you two just said. Emotional intelligence is everything. Being able to understand, like you said, they may say this, but reading body language, reading emotions and things like that to see if they really can handle it. Because then, then you get to see, okay, well, I need to dial myself back on this end and put more into this end. Because, they're putting up a good front, saying, yes, everything's great, we're fine. But then, you can just see it when, you're around them and everything, that it's really not fine.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think this last trip we came off of, she was a lot happier. And it was just, us two. She really actually wanted to extend the trip.
You got to have that alone time.
I'm like, we can extend the trip. I got to get back. But it was wonderful. It was nice. And it felt like the way it felt when we first started dating. Sleeping in and, being carefree and careless and just getting up and doing what we want to do. It was really nice, But at the same time, we signed up for this. Yep. We signed up for this, right? That's where the rubber meets the road, and you separate the boys from the men and the girls from the women, right? So, I don't know, man. There's difference between price and cost.
It is. I mean, the cost of providing and the cost of, making sure everything's good at home, and the cost that you have to pay to, just dealing with the stressors and the issues that you deal at work, to be able to just to keep your job, because people will piss you off.
Well, I had an incident last night, and, I had a guy who's been testing my thread for a long time. And we all know what happens when you lose sleep.
You got less patience.
And I snapped on him. So I had to write a statement. I went ahead and, did the honorable thing and went to HR and went to my manager and told him, hey, listen, this is what transpired. So I just went ahead and put it out there, And I didn't say, well, I was tired or anything like that. I just said, hey, listen, I feel like I was provoked. With that being said, this was the incident and this is the people who witnessed it, And it was, it was one of those things where it was one of those things where this individual had privilege. And he felt like I couldn't tell him anything about his performance. Like I had the nerve to even inquire about his performance. And this is what I always tell my teammates in the business that I'm in. We sell devices that provide internet services to people in America and modems. And like you all know, most of our children are going to school from home. And you have people who are working remote. And I said, when we don't fulfill our promise or do simply what we're paid to do, there are parents that are concerned because their kids can't learn. And then there are people who work from home who can't earn a living. So when we decided to apply for this job, there was a responsibility involved once they hired us. So let's meet that responsibility. And I guess he didn't like that.
Oh, I mean,
And it was straight like that.
It wasn't rude. It wasn't.
It was straight like that. And it was like, how dare you even talk to me about my performance? Today, I choose ye not to do it. So I snapped.
I choose ye.
I choose ye. You know,
Ye say
some
no.
King George
Choose
type
this
thing. I choose
ass
ye.
whooping.
Listen, it took everything in my power. I forgot where I was. I truly, for about 2 seconds, I forgot where I was. And I remembered, like, okay. But, you know, yeah, man, it's crazy. All the things that we deal with, and especially being what we are.
But we're men, right?
Yeah, but hold on. Especially being what we are, there's even more pressure to do even better. Okay, so we already talked about home, what's required at home. We touched the surface on what's required at home. Mm-hmm. But what's required at work from you, JB? What's required from you? Now, you're a business owner. What's required in order to keep that? And especially you, Will. Okay? Especially you. What is required? Okay, so we talked about replenishment, right? Because we're a commodity and we're being consumed. So with all those things, with the wind weathering you away, and then you come home and you got to be this, it's almost like being bipolar in a sense. Because your mind is programmed to be one way, and you come home and programmed to be one. It's like really naturally installing bipolar mentality.
I'll tell you now, I can't. I have a tough time switching that on and off.
It's very difficult.
So my approach at work definitely trickles in at home. You know, the way very assertive, very, boom, 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 boom. And that doesn't go over well a lot of times in the house. So I just have to be mindful of that and understand that, my wife is not my, subordinate or,
I've had that conversation. I'm not one of your associates.
Direct report
really
and all
you
that
are.
stuff. So,
Really you are.
Ooh, I had that.
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just something that you got to be, mindful of. It's like, look, this is supposed to be my partner. It's supposed to be the person that I'm, committed to in my life to, and not just some, jackass at work that's messing up. You know what I mean? Or you got to hold accountable. So it's tough.
I want to shift gears real gently. We talk about work-life balance, and there are a lot of things that occur when you have lack thereof work-life balance. I had a friend of mine's who, I'm talking about a stand-up guy, worked very hard to provide his family with everything.
Thank you.
Come to find, you're welcome. Come to find out, his wife was having an affair,
Okay.
and he didn't know it for a long time because he was busy providing. Mm-hmm. Right, his head was in the clouds essentially, and he was doing what he believed was the thing to do. A lot of times we think by working hard and providing, because like some of us, I grew up poor, so to provide my family with certain things makes me feel complete as a man.
It does.
But like JB said, you still have to have a level of emotional intelligence to know what's going on in your household. Providing is not everything. Presence, presence is just as important, right?
Presence is definitely important, and that is also a way of provision, man. I mean, it's not just
guidance.
providing, financially.
Emotionally.
You're providing some emotional stability.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Within the household. Right. So, that's still being a provider.
And see, this guy, he, everybody was happy. Dude had a boat, jet skis. They took trips, and he found out on a humble, he got sick at work. This is how he found out. Never missed a day. Your body wore his body down. Mm-hmm. Too sick to call and say he was coming home. Noticed the car didn't belong to him. He didn't buy it. He walks in the house thinking it's one of his wife's girlfriends, and needless to say, they were consummating some things. So
They was in an entanglement.
they was deep.
Entanglement.
He was in a deep entanglement.
Entanglement.
deep entanglement, right?
Balls deep
I'm
entanglement.
talking about. Listen,
Balls
man.
deep
There was
entanglement.
nothing but pubic hair showing.
That's fucked up.
Everything was submerged. Everything was submerged.
Got a question.
Go ahead. Well, he was looking. He's a. I can't say.
So, what was next?
Oh, he flipped out.
As he should.
He flipped out, and it came short of him
Catching the case.
catching the case. But what it is, so listen, so check this out. This is crazy. So all his life, up through his childhood, he thought, well, I'll do things differently. His dad, he never knew his father. He said, I'll do things differently. I'll always make sure my family has. So he's thinking he's doing the right thing out of default. So this man is devastated because he can't piece together
Why?
when I've given you everything based upon my perception of what a man is and the way you're receiving it. What did I do to deserve this? It was emotional intelligence, lack of the presence. He gave him the provision, which presence is provision. He gave him the things, but he didn't give him the time. And you know, she was lonely.
And you know,
So-
you see, it gets so, as you say, Professor, it does get deep.
He was real deep.
Especially with he was deep. But even with your kids, you know, what are you modeling for your kids?
That's true.
You know, what man is your son going to become? What man is your daughter going to be
That's right.
looking for?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're modeling that behavior that they're going to see. And let's be honest, we've picked up a lot of traits from our daddies
You're right.
relative to emotional intelligence.
Or lack thereof.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a true statement. That's the gospel right there.
Yeah, because I know I'm not very emotional. You know, I try to. I understand it's an area that I'm not strong in because my father, he really wasn't an emotional man. I mean, he was very, very, very close to the vest with his emotions, particularly with my mother that I saw around him. You know, I mean, my mother told me one day, you know, we were just talking. She's like, I just want you to know one thing. Whenever you get married and you have a wife, I want you to be more sensitive to her and show more emotion towards her, because your father has struggled in that area. And I was like, really? I mean, because I didn't notice it, you know, because I'm just seeing him.
Yeah, he's a nice dude, man. Real
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the, you know, through their relationship, and it's obvious that what was modeled because I was the same way.
So JB,
You know what I'm saying? So
let me ask you this though: do you think it's the fact that Dad had to shift gears from work to home, and because of that, it kind of paralyzed his emotion?
No, I just think that that's just who he was. I don't think that he just wasn't a really emotional person. He's still not. I mean, he's a nice man. I mean, he's a great man. But relative, you know, we're talking about a relationship with a woman, you know, and what I saw growing up, I didn't see a lot of emotions, which is why it never occurred to me that was how I was supposed to.
So that brings a
respond.
question to my mind then. So, okay, you don't experience, you don't see, you don't get a firsthand, you know, guide to these things. So what do you do and how do you build this intelligence up when you've never seen an example?
You have to
Listen,
put yourself out there and learn,
that's it.
because it's no. We could talk about financial bad habits that some of our families have had, right? You have to learn from that. You know, just different things that that you call generational curses, if you will.
But is your spouse willing to play trial and error with you while you do that, though?
If she down for you, she is.
And if we're open and say, hey, listen here, this is what I know, this is what I don't know, and this is what I'm willing to learn. Will you help me and roll with me while we go through this process?
Because you're supposed to be growing together.
That's it.
So the trial and error is the investment. It's kind of like the stock market, right? You put your money in, and the market is very volatile. It goes up, it goes down.
Oh, it's volatile in the early days.
right. But what do they always tell you? Keep what? Keep
Keep
my
investing.
hand.
Don't keep
Keep
it
investing.
Keep
Keep
it in.
investing.
Keep it in.
Don't pull
Keep
out.
taking steps.
That's what
Don't
she
pull
said.
out.
Don't pull, I like that.
Don't pull out.
That's
Don't
what
pull
she
out.
said.
Definitely don't pull out.
Yeah, it's hard.
30
You gotta have
seconds.
discipline for that.
Yeah, I ain't pulling out.
At all. I have the
Only
only
thing I pull out is my couch.
but just like a
My
relationship,
debit card.
That's right. On my wallet.
Swipe.
no intention to evacuate at all. But just like the market, you have to stay in.
You gotta stay
right?
in.
Because sometimes the highs are greater than the lows.
That's true.
Right?
That's true, Professor. That's true.
Right? So you have to have and we talked about this. We talked about alignment, and even in a relationship, and not to dwell on relationships, but both parties have to have somewhat of a healthy or an existent emotional intelligence. I say existent because you can build off that, right?
Yep.
And if they don't have that, then it's going to be very, very hard to get them to understand in an emotional value that, you know what, this man is going through or this woman is going through. They need me more. I can't even think about leaving them or think about doing anything to hurt them when they need me at this time while we're evolving. So it's a process.
Brother, I'll tell you right now, you spot on, and I'll even say this too on women. They are definitely more emotionally intelligent than we are. They know exactly what buttons to press.
Oh my God.
What good and bad. If you in a certain mood, they know exactly what they'll do to get you out of that mood. If you feel in a certain way, they know exactly what to do because they're in tune with us emotionally. That's how they communicate. We don't communicate that way. So it's odd to us when they say, "Haven't you heard me? Haven't you seen these hints?" And I'm like, I don't know what these fucking hints mean.
And see, and that's an issue that we
you
kind of
just gotta
have.
hit it to me plain because that's
Because where they think they're speaking it, plain English and it's just straight out right. We're like, huh?
It's like being blindfolded and asked to do a puzzle. Like, y'all got me. Listen, I don't like playing these games. Just tell me what you
right.
want.
Just tell me
Just
what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, for them, it's clear as day. But for
meanwhile,
us, it's like,
You didn't see that?
She can communicate
Yeah,
through our
subliminal.
emotions like. She's like, oh, I know how he's feeling now. The day's gonna be this kind of day because this is how he was this morning. So I know probably by 4:00 this afternoon he's gonna be such and such. Right. I can't do that shit. I don't know what's going on. Because just like you said, D, you still mad?
That was an hour and a half ago. That's a long time.
What the fuck? I just took a shit, ate some food.
Right.
Hey, and once you take a shit, everything good then, man.
Right.
Good,
Oh, good.
Oh, man.
Hey, and don't take a nap.
Right. Take a nap.
Go away.
Man, I get rid of all kinds of arguments.
Although
I slept on that shit.
Although I tell you, I'm guilty. I go to bed mad. I wake up, I'm pissed the fuck off still.
yeah, I can see that. Yep.
I'm mad as fuck. That's me. But you want to know I'm mad. I don't tell you I'm still mad. I just don't say shit to you.
That's why
I'm
she
the
knows.
opposite because, like, I mean, if I
My language would tell you I'm mad.
if I go to bed mad, I'm waking up mad for sure.
Me too.
But my face don't hide shit. I mean, my facial expressions will tell you everything that I'm feeling. I as much as I would try to hide whatever, I mean, I'll be looking at you 4 times sideways while I'm here trying to be like, okay, everything's good. But I mean, I look for resolution. I look for some type of closing in things. And, I understand that it's not always guaranteed to me and I'm not always owed closing or, some type of resolution. But, I like to think at home I can get that. Yeah. But, at work, of course, I mean, if it happens at work, I'm blessed. But at home, I've always hated to go to bed angry.
But you know what though, and I'm admitting this. I've been guilty about this. A lot of times when we're angry at each other, we won't speak, and there's times I will prolong the apology just to get peace. Like I'll apologize.
Yeah.
I'll wait 5 days from now.
Hey, because really, you're not mad
I ain't mad at all.
at all. You just like
okay.
So,
I saying that, looking at them.
Oh yeah, that pisses them off, bro.
oh yeah.
When you
Hey,
ain't mad,
Silence.
Hey, Professor, I'm with that,
Yeah,
man.
I'm just getting peace.
Like I'm acting mad.
We getting a break.
but really, I'm really not mad. Like
Not at all.
I'm just
I
you
go to lunch,
by myself.
go to car wash.
Oh, I love that shit, dude.
Be happy. They playing with the kids. They're like, what's
See,
going on?
I thought I was the only one. My brother.
No, sir.
Hey, we're gonna toast to that one.
I'm definitely on the roster. But yeah, like we were talking about, we've been and this is a term that I've known about, but JB resurrected it, displaced our emotions and everything, and we struggle so hard, man. It's funny. Relationships were not made to be complicated.
No.
You know, they were outlined exactly the way they're supposed to be. It's very basic, and we just complicate them, man. You know, and like JB said, there has to be some kind of alignment and so did D. Is it about the things or is it about the growth of the relationship? Are we looking to retire in our legacy? Or are we just doing this to buy things? It's all about alignment.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
there's plenty of people that get together.
but let me tell you this:
at
the end of the day,
You know what you want.
at the end of the day, as long as my needs are met, I can sacrifice my wants anytime.
That's true.
But when I have things that I want and my needs are not met, I'm in a bad state.
I mean, you know,
I'm in a bad state.
Brings back something, you know, JB said in a prior episode. I mean, this is, it's stuck with me. I mean, it's just like this. Anytime like certain situations pop up, this shit pops up. Do you value being right or do you value the relationship?
Right.
If you value the relationship, then you value the truth, right? So it's not about being right or wrong. It's about being honest.
Well,
Can
honesty. I'll say this: if you value a relationship, you're willing to put forth the work to come to a compromise and come to some mutuality about something. If you want to be right and you value being right, you don't care about mutuality. You don't care about compromise. You don't care about that because you right. You want to be right. Mm-hmm. I value me being right and finding my truth. So that's why I think it's a little. I see what you're saying.
My truth.
Right. This is my truth. But that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I value my truth.
So in your mind, for me, my mind, I can know the truth, but vocally, I may agree on something different for the relationship. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, you know how people use the expression, and I don't necessarily want to use it as from a military standpoint, like there's an ultimate goal from like some strategic goal to win a war, but they say pick and choose your battles.
That's it, man.
You do. I mean,
You do.
I don't want to say to compare marriage to a war per se, but it's like
some battles.
There's some battles in there.
but it's a war of wills. We'll say that it's just a war of wills, not of individuals, of your will and her will. But the end game of the wills is you want to bring that alignment, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So not the battle. Yeah, you may be right. You may be justifiably 100% right, but you being right, is that going to bring y'all to?
That's true.
Is it going to cost you the relationship?
Is that going to bring y'all wills together and put your wills in alignment?
That's good shit, JB.
Is it going to drop your emotional intelligence?
Yeah.
To value being right.
Yeah.
About that other person.
Nah, I don't give a fuck. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't give a fuck, man.
Right.
And my wife know that too.
Right. And as does mine, because I'm stubborn as hell. So it's like I love being right. But I recognize that this is something, same with the emotional intelligence piece. I do recognize that is something about me. And I think back to what you were saying there, Will, that's how you dive into that. That's how you get into that is first you got to recognize it. With anything that's going on, you got to recognize that it is an issue. Mm-hmm. So it is some thing of contention that I got to invest in this. So be it being more sensitive, more attentive to your spouse's needs, having better financial habits, whatever the case may be, recognize it is for what it is.
You brought up a good point. We were in Vegas last week, and I guess my emotional intelligence meter was on E. And
because everything else was on full tilt.
That's why. To the utmost. So my wife threw a shot at me.
A shot glass or
a shot of what?
No, she threw a verbal. She was verbally
okay.
sparring.
Attacked you.
She attacked me.
Judo.
So I did something that I didn't expect to do, and I thank God for this. And she said something to me, said, "You're this." And I said, there are so many things I need to work on. Thanks for helping me understand what's wrong with me.
Oh, so you was being an asshole.
Blame it on the alcohol. But the next day,
I've been there.
But the next day, she
Thank
was
you
like,
for bringing that attention, that to my attention.
I know there's a lot of things that I need to work on, and I'm trying to fix them so I can be better for you. That's exactly what I told her. And it just was like that. And I think I meant it. I meant it.
You ain't mean that shit. The way you said it like that, you ain't mean it like that.
I was full of Hennessy.
That was some backhanded shit.
My blood was all Hennessy. But it diffused it because it threw her off. Like, damn, I won. Like, it's game over that fast? It's game over. There was nothing to argue about. We were done.
You bring up a good point.
She was finished and she was done.
We finished it, we done. Finish it, we done. You
some
bring up a
respect
good
on my
point.
name.
So
When you are, I won't say quick, but when you are, I don't know, appropriately apologetic. Let's put it that way.
Oh man, see that's a man.
If you say quick, they can be quick right back.
Right.
Some women will take that and stretch that for a month.
No, but I'm saying when you are appropriately apologetic, it goes a long way to squashing, the beef.
True.
But when you are backhanded apologetic, that shit don't go away. I tried.
So I got a question, and maybe this is relative.
And
to
don't
something.
say but.
Yeah, everything you say before but is bullshit.
It's gone.
But makes it negative no matter what.
If you say but, you're done.
Yeah, it's
Oh, you can say,
baby, I love you so much.
I know such and such and such a, but
So
you the one who did, it don't work that way.
So I pose this to the table. So we all agree that men lack emotional intelligence. Now, sometimes that can be I can be honest because we were not taught. And our belief system was designed to believe that, hey, we're not allowed to be emotional and our job is to provide, right? What if that was installed in your belief system? So you grew up believing this, and it's nothing that you intentionally are doing. You are doing it intentionally, but you're doing it based off of belief, right? Of what you were taught or what you may not have been taught. But what happens when your belief system and what your heart, you really vow to believe somewhat impacts your marriage and your marriage become violated because your belief system. What I mean by that is you're providing, and maybe you were a little short on emotional intelligence.
Honestly, Professor, I think that's what's been pushed.
That's very common
by society. For the most part, is that men, stoic, no emotion, financial provider, that's it. Women, stay home, raise kids. You're emotional, that's what it is. But we're both emotional beings. It's just that we just don't. Men through the society struggle.
We don't know how to use it like women use it.
Yeah, communicating that way, or receive the communication and deliver the communication that'll be received well. Because just what you did when you was in Vegas, like you said, that was you responding in a way, even though you was being an asshole. It was better than you saying fuck you.
But it was in a calm voice.
Right. So you wasn't yelling, nice, you wasn't saying fuck you.
Yeah, it was soothing.
Right, exactly. So
nice ass asshole.
I just had an epiphany. Can I say this?
So getting it back to where we were.
All right, let's come back from La La Land.
My emotional intelligence is back.
That wasn't no emotional intelligence.
So this is what I think. To kind of answer what you said earlier.
Crazy.
I think men have always had emotional intelligence. We just don't know the full potential of it and how to use
access it.
We don't know how to turn it on. How women turn it on.
Right.
Women can turn it on like boom. It's a flip of a switch. Dudes, we got to prime it, then pull the handle, then, once it starts, and then...
Or I think afterwards, something can happen, and once we process it...
Then we
turn it on. So
here's a perception that I have. As men, we're more. It's about the physical dominance. You know, it's very physical. So obviously, women are not going to physically dominate a man, right? So how? Listen,
brother.
let me finish.
Not in all cases.
Not in all cases. So, you know, all things being equal, women are not going to physically dominate a man. So how are they going to influence this? A man can own another man, physical. It's a physical interaction, right? A woman has to use something other than a physical strength in order to influence an outcome. So that's women are more in tune with that emotional side of it because they know that that's a way that they can provide influence.
That is true.
More so because a man and he'll just drop everything. It's like, fuck it, let's fight. A woman ain't gonna do that. She ain't gonna
But
say
see,
fuck it,
and
let's
this is
fight.
why I disagree. You get a type
Dude,
A personality
nah,
woman.
man.
I'm telling you, I've
JB,
seen them and I've run into them.
brother.
Can I go deep? Can I go deep? Because I'm
You
about to
can
call
go
you a slave.
deep, but-
I'm about to call you a slave.
No, you gotta call him a slave. But
shit.
what I'm saying, what I'm saying, ill will,
Oh, Will.
is that that is not going to be when a woman, what her first initial response most of the times out of 10 is how can I navigate in this situation and influence this.
He's right.
You know,
say that
because
for most
women,
women. Yeah, there are-
women are way more strategic, way more
JB is so right.
way more forward thinking when it comes to trying to, you know, make an outcome come together, setting little hints, setting little things. They know how to trigger emotions and try to do all that. So most men don't. They're not in tune with that. So that's why our default is physical dominance, physical altercation. You know, I'm gonna impose my will, so to speak. You know, that way to influence something.
Let me
Go ahead, Professor.
You know what? He's so right. And I thought he was going to take what I was about to say. This is the difference between men and women in terms of emotion and pain. When you give a woman emotion and pain, she knows how to translate it. She can translate it. That's why you see her act out in her emotions. Men transfer it. So basically, if you feel pain or I hurt you, it's going to transfer into violence. You give it to a woman, she'll translate it through her emotions and the things that she say and the way she acts. It's a difference. Translation versus transfer. That's what it is. And that's how we handle it.
Yeah,
That's why a woman is more emotionally sound, because she can translate what she's feeling and communicate it in a way that's not violent or that'll keep you as a mute. Because, you know, when we feel certain stuff, it breaks me. There's times where I've been through some stuff that's so heavy, it shuts me down completely.
Right.
Because I don't know how to transfer it. And I certainly don't know how to translate it. So that's what it is.
Right. I you know, I'm not trying to be backwards thinking or chauvinistic or whatever, but I really do feel like that's how most men, that's how I was raised and came up. That's how you communicate. When you see another dude or you guys have a beef, it's all okay, what's up?
Yeah, it's on.
You know,
Instantly.
it's instant. Right. You know, that's our communication.
On site.
That's the communication. Women, on the other hand, especially when it's an interaction with a man, another woman I can understand, but if they're trying to navigate through something, it's not going to be okay. What's happening?
No, I
You
mean
know?
it's not. I'm not saying it's going to be something physical, but what I'm saying is, at that moment, you know, losing their emotional intelligence too, and then going straight to, you know, no emotion, coldness, and things like that.
You saying as far as just shutting down?
That's part of it, you know.
That's baggage, ill will. That's baggage. Because what it is, it's not. There's things that are unresolved, and then you're putting. It's like more stuff on top of the stuff, not more stuff on top of it, and more stuff on top of it. And by the time you cut through it, you got to cut so deep just to get to what's really going on, that you've damaged the product.
Yeah, I think that for what I understand and what I've seen with women in that regard, when you talk about shutting down, it is because there's a lot of emotional strain that they don't know how to process. You know, they haven't talked through it. They have, you know what I'm saying? Because most women, they'll sit and they'll talk through something with their girlfriends or whatever. They'll talk through it. Most times when women are dealing with something and they keep stuff close to the vest is because they haven't really talked through it with anybody. But men, that's their normal.
Stop speaking
that's,
like a motherfucker.
Right, but man, that's our normal MO is to not talk.
Yeah, we're done.
Our normal
Hey, fuck
MO
with
is
him.
we done. We good. All right.
I talk to myself. When I'm driving my truck, I talk all that shit by myself. I fix all my problems on my own.
All right, Bobby Brown.
Crazy motherfucker.
Me, myself, and I.
But it works. Talk this shit out, fix it, and I move on.
Nah, I think this is a good discussion. I think it'd be good to maybe have a caller call in one time and maybe do a part 2 of this.
Yeah. We'll definitely make it happen. Because I mean, especially to get a female point of view for this.
Yeah,
I mean, this
yeah.
would be fantastic in that aspect. Because I mean, yeah, as far as for us, we're just speaking to the things that we've seen as men and how we deal with it as men.
Mm-hmm.
But given the woman's perspective of how they operate, how they think, and things like that, to counterbalance the things that we feel, and in that aspect, we learn something.
That's true.
Because,
Right.
they'll tell us how they displace, transfer, translate, and things in their world. And,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because right now we're assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have we don't have a
That's true.
anything to
Yeah,
go
we
by.
don't have
I
first.
mean, we're definitely right.
Yeah, I feel that.
Ain't no fucking doubt about that.
hey, D. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
This is what we do.
This is what we do is be right. Shit, I ain't never wrong. It ain't never my fault.
But yeah, I mean, I just think, it would be insightful to hear a female perspective in this.
Yeah, maybe some of the listeners out there, if they they hear this,
Yeah.
Hit us up on the
Yeah,
Facebook,
hit
the
us up.
Instagram, Twitter.
Let us know what you
whatever.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll get you on. Hear your sides of it. And, we love to have callers call in and get a hold of people, or us call callers. It makes for very interesting conversations. Of course, along the way, we've had some very interesting people.
Oh, yeah,
and
we've
some
had-
very interesting conversations up here.
Yes, we had.
Yeah, just make sure you please hit us up on the Facebook page, Black and Thought, Instagram, Black and Thought, podcast, Twitter, Black and Thought, yet again. So find us, hit us up, because we really want to know, what the ladies think of this, because
Hit me on Twitter.
hit me on Twitter on your Twitter handle.
Check my Instagram out. D.
Hit me on the gram.
But it's just you have to find that balance between life and work, and you could even split it up even more between life and at home, because there are balances that have to be made at home as well, not just work. Because for me, the way I do things and can treat people at work, I don't bring that home. I can shut that off and then turn on a new type of perspective when I come home. Because, I know, for me at work, there's times where, I got to be like, not today, motherfucker, not today. But then, at home, I there's no way I can come home and tell, the wife, not today, motherfucker. Or tell the kids, not today.
Oh man.
Oh, hey,
Not
kids, that's a whole nother balance.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, kids are
Because they love you despite whatever.
Man,
FTK, man.
man, kids are so selfish, man.
Oh, my
FTK.
They so selfish.
Damn kids, man.
You talk about emotional intelligence.
Man, them
they
kids
have
smart.
zero emotion.
And them kids, all they want is what they want.
That's right.
They don't give a damn
right.
about. Dude, my daughter asked my wife the other day, Mom, is this our starter home? You don't have anything. You're 10.
Yeah, you have nothing.
You have zero.
She's a what? She's a
nothing.
what?
She asked my wife is,
The house
Mom,
is starter.
is this our starter home? You have zero. You have nothing.
So how does she respond
So
to
by
that?
you saying our,
She told her,
lets me know
Oh, I
that
don't have anything.
You
You have
are
zero.
confused.
you have nothing. Nothing. Oh, God. This chick walking around talking about we should get these counters and these cabinets. Mom, I think we should take this stuff down in my loft. No, you have nothing. Like your room, you are renting that. That's mine. Everything is mine.
You ain't even written it.
You're borrowing it.
Yeah, you just.
No, I'm letting you use it.
I'm right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
and-
I'm just allowing you to live here.
And like
start a home, yeah.
like I told my son, I want my shit back. Right. And he gave it back. Yeah, this is my shit. Everything's mine. You're a kid. That's another story. These kids, they so entitled.
Yeah, that could be another. That could be another
that's
episode.
and
Yes,
they,
in
they
itself.
think
Kids entitlement.
Entitlement kid. Yeah, we gonna talk about that. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm getting pissed right now thinking about it. It's just our starter home.
On that note, here's something to leave you black in thought. Whether you call it emotional intelligence, emotional leadership, emotional potent, it is the capability of individuals to recognize their own emotions and those of others, discern between different feelings and label them appropriately, use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior, and or adjust emotions while managing them to adapt to the environment or achieve one's goal. At the end of the day, within relationships and home, there still is one goal: to be with your significant other and you be each other's peace. At work, the goals can be multifaceted, but it is to continue to have a job and get a paycheck to be able to provide. And on that note, we out.
DJ Payne 1.
You know I'm flawed, but you love me anyway. A lot of times I'm so wrong, but you love me anyway. Love me anyway. That's why you're my buddy.
Thank you for listening to this episode, and we want you to come back for more. If you like what you heard, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. We're on all the major networks: Apple, Google, TuneIn, Spotify, and many more. Check out our social media, and please like, follow, and comment on Facebook, Black in Thought, Instagram, Black in Thought Podcast, and Twitter, Black in Thought Podcast. Please subscribe, share, and once again, thank you for listening.